Alrighty. Hello, y'all. I hope you're doing well. So, I have an interesting message for some of y'all. I watched a couple videos that Father God wants me to share here. But one thing he keeps saying that call your energy back, call your energy back. I don't know. Either it's for you, for me. I don't know what it is. A lot of you, part of your manifestation, whatever you call it, your prayers, especially if you're fasting, is your, when you're like meditating or you're praying or you're, before you go to bed, you have that conversation with him. Or when you wake up in the morning, you're grateful for waking up and all the things that you have and stuff like that. And if you're not doing that, you should be doing that. Okay, this is specific for some of y'all. For some of y'all, it's something about, like, for example, actually it's not an example, he gave me this to explain it just like this. Let's say someone, curse your finances, for example. Again, not an example, but you get the drift. Curse or hex or try to siphon, steal your energy, because it knows from a long time. I mean, if you're wearing this type of anointed child who is full of love and empathy, super smart, because these people are fucking dumb, they wouldn't be attacking you, right? And that's a lesson that a lot of us, when attacks come and back and forth and everywhere, especially in the finances, because this little motherfucker leech, fucking reptilian, disgusting, is attacking your finances lately. A lot of you, you're noticing weird ass bills, weird ass stuff happening, okay? Nothing going your way. And sometimes when it's not your way, it's for protection, okay? Things just shifting, and again, we're on Mercury retrograde too, so it's a good time to definitely call your energy back if you're feeling some type of energy. Cold. It's nice today. Now it's cold. So basically, what he's saying is that when you start calling your energy back, ask him or pray in prayers to show you how to do that, especially on your solar plexus, where your confidence and your finances and stuff like that, and your legacy and money and stuff like that. And yes, he's giving you some forewarning that this has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. Like, this is what white supremacy is, right? And racism is people like literally stealing from others, right? Trying to be like others, jealousy and envious and racist, right? So this could be for some of you.
This is not normal. I know part of you feels numb, and I get it. You've seen so much horror that if you didn't tune some of it out, you might have lost your mind already. And this endless stream of horrific images and headlines from Gaza is back again in full force. And maybe part of you feels like we've already failed Palestinians, that it's too late, that Israel and the US have only grown more genocidal, more barbaric, more ruthless. But we can't give in to that. We can't surrender to numbness, to apathy, because our anger, our outrage, that's what keeps this from becoming normal. And I refuse to live in a world where a live stream genocide is accepted as just another part of life. So now, more than ever, we have to act. Take to the streets, join BDS campaigns, pressure your government, your university, your workplace, your city council, your pension fund, demand they end their complicity with Israel. History is watching. And we can't let it say we stood by and did nothing.
So we're back at it. Please look at my Telegram for enough evidence. I don't know. I don't understand. And Francesca is completely right. Like, since 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up yesterday, 2:30, and I was just feeling some type of way. I couldn't. And then I went on my Telegram and I saw what was going on, and everybody reporting like, I will never look at rainbows the same way ever again. Babies. $410 plus, they still have people under the rubber bombing them in the middle of the night like a bunch of cowards. And most of those was 130 plus, which were children. And they feel victorious because I saw that there was only one Hamas fighter with the entire family that they murder. Just one. But they needed to do all this? For what? Oh, wait, because on that same day, Mr. Netanyahu had to go to court to also, he's being accused of other shit that he has done from the Israel that should not exist. And they decided to cancel it because he decided not to go and decided to kill a bunch of Palestinians. This is collective punishment, right? And literally end the ceasefire and then pretend that it was Hamas that didn't want the one at the end of the ceasefire. And then the news is just complicit as crazy. Meanwhile, we also have like a lot of wounded. So most of the wounded as well, they are gonna pass away because there's no medical, like the hospitals are overcrowded. There's none, and there's nothing. There's a blockade as well of food and medical for more than 2 weeks now during Ramadan. Israel strike target and hit heavily packed neighborhoods, makeshift schools, residential buildings where people were sheltering. All the people were in tents. The hospital and remains of their children in their hands. Are we going to continue? This was literally what happened for an entire year. And I cannot, this is the energy already. I feel like all these Zio making excuses and justification. Nothing justifies this. Saying like, oh, they started in October 7th. You are sick, motherfucker, if you keep saying that. That means you're not want to be educated because this is way before October 7th. And I'm like sick and tired telling you guys the same thing. But at this point, I know that you guys don't give a fuck. You just want to see a bunch of dead brown babies, right? Because you're fucking sick. You're sick. The second phase of the ceasefire deal would have been permanent ceasefire and release nearly 60 remaining Israeli whatever hostages. So it shows again that you guys don't give a shit about the hostages. It was never about the hostages. It was about the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. It has always been about that. But stage 2 was not reached because Israel kept delaying talks of breaking the ceasefire. Did you know how many times they broke the ceasefire? How many times since the ceasefire started? 912 times violation of the ceasefire. That was an imaginary ceasefire. Let's keep it real here. We have the chairman of Aero Medir, Rami Abdul. My condolences. He says, Israel killed my sister and her children tonight, along with her entire family. Israel may kill us at will, burn us alive, and tear us apart, but it will never succeed in uprooting us from our land. Justice and accountability away, no matter how long it takes. And that really is what's happening, because this is why there needs to be accountability and justice, because these people need to be in jail. Okay? Report information from the Ministry of Health reveals that 73% of those killed in Israel's strike today are children, women, or the elderly. At least 412 have been reported killed by the hospital. The breakdown by age group is as follows: 174 children, 89 women killed, 32 elderly, and 109 men killed. I want you to see the proportion, how similar from the children and men. It's a bit higher than the women. It's intentional. They don't want to have Palestinians to have a legacy to exist. This is ethnic cleansing. This is genocide. I also want to make it clear that this was actually also, there's multiple videos. I put it on Telegram as well and on my repost, so you can go and repost and share. We need to continue, because this is also another thing that this content might not be boosted up. So please boost it up, because they obviously are lying in the media. I reposted from this journalist. I'm gonna add it here after, and when I make a video because on YouTube, because Father God wants me to add other videos related to this to keep the energy going. Yeah, this is true. Israel kills more children than all the countries in the world combined. And I don't care what any, this is the fact. This is fact. We have multiple evidence and facts. We have a UN report, Amnesty report. And if you guys are okay with that, you're fucking sick and racist, obviously. But this is also mandated, and literally the USA came up and said, oh yeah, this was discussed by the USA, and Netanyahu went and discussed this with them. So this is Trump also. Yeah. Because when you put psychopaths as leaders, this is what they do. Their obsession with money, their obsession with killing, and also they're racist as fuck. So all they want to do is get away with murder. A lot of you say you need to understand it. A lot of you, it's like it's consent when they put all those media. Oh, it's about Hamas. It's Hamas. Like, this is not about that. They're lying. This has nothing to do about that. But also that too, they want to do this as collective punishment because at the end of the day, resistance has always been winning for an entire year. They have the best arm, the best thing, and all they do is kill a bunch of babies. And they feel like, uplifted because they killed one Hamas resistant fighter. Oh, wow. Cowards. Nothing justifies genocide. Nothing. And we shouldn't, this is illegal as fuck. And we should not allow this to continue. We need to stand up. We need to, this is a good post by Maria. You're seeing the massacres of Palestine take place in real time as Israel violates the ceasefire agreement. Maybe you're heavily watching the news because you want to stay up to date, which is okay, but don't get stuck there. Take breaks, get up, and move and do something, okay? Go to take action. Follow your local PYP chapters for mobilization updates. Share important information on your social media accounts. Censorship continues. Yes. Bear witness by sitting with how this feels. Don't just avoid it and numb it. Don't do that. The enemy wants that and colonizers want that. Okay, that's the point. Pray. I don't know what religion. Doesn't matter. Spiritual practice or faith you are, because every day the people in Gaza ask us to pray for them. So that's what we do. And you have to. Those who are doing Ramadan, do your prayers. If you're not doing it, if you want to start or do a fasting, do it for them, okay? It matters. Trust me. The colonizers and these motherfuckers, they are like, they don't want you guys to do that. Do it anyways. That's the point. Talk to people about this. Don't just let it sit on your feet, on your body, even if it's couple. And change it. You're horrifying. This is normalize saying this horrifying out loud, not in silence, okay? And yes, this literally did happen. Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon all under the same attack on the same day by Israel. Stand up. It's healthy to be angry. Your rage is needed. This is alchemizing. This is transmuting energy. You have to. This is why we say bear witness. We are bear witness of genocide. We have to. Because this cannot be just, oh, it's not happening. No, it's not going to happen ever again. We need to make sure of that. We, the people. Get out, helplessness and free state. We must move and introduce energy into the body. Move and then mobilize. Talk about it. Continue the boycotts. Continue, okay? I love you guys. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free Syria, free Lebanon. Like, free all the oppressed people, like for real. This cannot continue. Continue speaking up, okay? I love you. See you next time. Anyways. I'm not surprised at all. I'm trying to keep us all together. Yeah. So a lot of y'all continue holding to God, continue praying, pray for the people of Gaza, okay? So the new channel message that I have also as well is that this one pissed me off. But the fact that Father God said that this is really happening, like, this is justification that they are trying these demonic energies to spread everywhere. So the videos that you guys are watching, the facts and videos that come from health workers, that comes from the people experiencing that trauma all over again. And you guys cannot even imagine, because we're not there. We're just witnessing. We're just seeing it from a screen. We're not there. We're not experiencing that trauma all over again. So have some respect. My Father God said, which is confirmed, I just saw that they're gonna justify and saying like, oh, those videos are not real, it's AI. That's what they're telling themselves. You see how deprived and sick motherfuckers these people are? And they're spreading it everywhere. And of course, you know, the media and everybody is like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, you guys literally are these colonizers, and of course the colonizers and these oligarchs and people who are doing this, they're like, oh, what a great idea, continue spreading it. So Father God said to be warned about that. It's not AI what we're showing you, and that is fucked up for a lot of you to even fucking say that, because these people literally are showing us what they're being hurt, they're being murdered and massacred, and their children being wiped out, their existence being wiped out, and you have the audacity to say it's AI that is made up social media, that is propaganda. But it's not propaganda that people are saying that what we're seeing, it's AI. The gaslighting and the abuse at this point is astronomical. But again, Father God said it's another tactic to slow you guys down, to silence you, to keep you not speaking up. Learn to see the enemy cowardice and energy of what it really is, a coward. Because only cowards and people who are racist and disgusting, and they don't want to be healed, they don't want to be educated, they want to continue in their conform ignorance, will say stuff like that. Will look at someone's trauma, will have no empathy. That's what it is. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Will have no empathy. Because someone who will say something like that and not validate those people who are suffering, who are hurting, who are being oppressed, who they literally lost family, so they're lying. Their families are not dead. It's AI. Like, you guys, like, seriously are sick. A lot of you, you're sick, man. You're fucking sick. For a lot of you, it is a form of distraction. It's a tactic to get you guys rowdy, to get you guys to feel some type of way, to get you out of your focus, so that they can say, you know, the typical narcissist energy, right? So that they can say, see, I told you, look how they act. Look. Meanwhile, the people who are saying those things to trigger you, because you know it's the truth. It's not AI. We know what AI images and stuff like that look like at this point. We know what's real, and we know fucking AI for real. Like, they're trying to gaslight you guys. Especially for those who are very spiritual too, and you have discernment, and your intuition's on fucking fleek, and you're exposing these motherfuckers. And they know it, and they can't stand it. So now they're making up more lies, more lies, more lies. They are the one paying intense propaganda. They hate people who have discernment and intuition, and they hate people who speak the truth, because you literally make them lose money, because people don't believe them anymore. And I know for a fact that the reason that this is the other route that they're going is because nobody believes their fucking lies. That's it. So now they have to make up another lie. Also, they don't want to look bad, right? Then stop doing fucking fucked up shit, genocidal shit. Stop killing children if you don't want to look bad, right? Like, this is weird. Like, we have to also, like, is this also like to protect their feelings or something like that? Like, fuck your feelings, bitch. Like, what the fuck? You're telling us, gaslighting us, that what we're seeing is not what we're seeing because it makes you look bad? Bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, a lot of y'all, like, don't fall into this trap, okay? For real. Stick to your faith, stick to your discernment, absolutely discernment, and no, this is not gonna, like, oh, stop watching that because it's fake. Like, that's another one that I heard today. I was like, so other people showing us evidence and facts of what's going on for them, it's fake because it makes you uncomfortable, because it makes you look bad. I love you fucking selfish bastards. And all of you, you're cowards as fuck. This is the thing is because it makes you uncomfortable, the truth, right? Because it is the truth. USA and Israel is doing this. It's butchering children, women, and the elderly, and men. Let's not forget about that. They have killed people who, yeah, you're protected. I'm seeing a spider. You're protected, a lot of you. Just continue speaking, continue trusting God, and have faith. That's the point. If God giving you a heads up, this is what's happening. Stand up for it. Don't let them instill that fear and doubt, because that too, the enemy, demonic energies, they're dry. They need to feed off something. They can't feed up anymore of the lies and fears and fear mongering, the trauma. A lot of you standing up for yourself, you're standing up for others. You have resilience. The enemy hates that. Continue exposing them. They're fucked up and they're going to the fucking jail or the Hague, okay? In spiritual realm, they're already there. So let's go. Let's get these people into Yale. I know there's a group now of lawyers globally. They're getting to work. Let's do this. Just like we did in 1939. We put the Nazis in the fucking... Let's go. These are not... This is Nazi... Zionists are Nazis covering themselves, masquerading themselves. And then calling themselves Jewish. Or Christian. Or any other fucking religion. This is what we call in the spiritual realm the masquerade spirits, but they're here in the physical. Zionism is an ideology. A sick, diabolical ideology. Let's keep it real here. Okay? And no, it's not anti-Semitism. They cannot use that word in terrorism too. They're using terrorism. They're wasting the words now. They're like dehumanizing and, trying to die out the words so that we don't use them against them. Now AI as well. Even AI, it's what's it called, on Twitter, it's literally exposing all of them. The weapon and everything. Even their own creation is against them. Wake up. Come on. Let's do this. They are scared of all of y'all taking action, not going to work, protesting, boycotting, taking all your money from your bank. Yeah. Do all the things that the system and the oligarchs are fucking scared of. Watch how things have changed in a second. But we need to do it together, united. There needs to be a global cutoff of work, of anything. Like, we should not go to work until this stops. That's what Father God keeps saying. And then be warned about the whole trying to fake the evidence now and stuff like that. We know what AI bodies and stuff like that look like. This is not AI. This is as real. This is real. You cannot fake this. The murderers, the limbs of you cannot fake this. So don't let them gaslight you, okay? I love you.
Zionists are known to deny atrocity after atrocity, so long as it doesn't fit their deceptive narrative. Murdering 40,000 people and counting in Gaza, blockading Gaza by land, air, and sea, and creating an impossible living situation. Expanding illegal Israeli settlements under liberal and conservative administrations, and basically causing every remnant of Palestinian land to disappear. Murdering Americans in open sight like Shireen Abu Akleh, Rachel Corrie, bombing the USS Liberty, mass graves of Palestinians being discovered under Israeli beaches, and the continuing mass graves in Gaza.
The thing about learning about Palestine and the reason why the Zionists in the West are so committed to keeping so much propaganda constantly going at you, having our media committed to it and having our politicians committed to it and our schools and our institutions committed to it, passing laws saying that you can't boycott the Israeli regime. The reason why they are so committed to all of that is because they need to hold it all together. It's a house of cards. And as soon as you start pulling back a little bit and learning a little bit, the whole thing comes crumbling down. That's the reason, because there's no way, if you're an ignorant person that doesn't actually really know what's going on in Palestine and you start to learn about it, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's exactly what's happened to me. It's exactly what's happened to a lot of people I know. And it's the reason why they're cracking down so hard, because you can really not know anything. And then as soon as you start learning, everything is like, wait, what? It's like, oh, they're a democracy. And then you learn that they're an apartheid regime that has roads that Palestinians can't drive on. You're like, wait, what? Then you learn that the states that they always rejected were not states at all, that they weren't peace deals, and that they were just basically trying to force the Palestinians to accept endless occupation. And you're like, what? Then you learn that they keep stealing their houses continually in the modern day, and you're like, what? And then you learn about Gaza, and you hear, oh, they left Gaza in 2005. And then you learn that they never left, that they occupy them, that Gaza actually doesn't have a military, that they don't have an airport, that they don't control their electricity, that they don't control their water. And you're like, what? There's absolutely no way for you to learn really about what's happening in Gaza and having it radically change you. And that is the reason why they work so hard to censor and to lie, because they know that you're going to be wearing that fucking keffiyeh everywhere the second you actually find out what the truth is.
I don't understand how come the same descendants of the Holocaust survivors who know what their grandparents have gone through, gas chambers, the Nazi killing machine, can do the same, burn children in front of hospitals systematically. This is a very advanced technologically state. I'm talking about Israel. When they shoot, when they target, they know who are they targeting at. Against a society, a nation, Palestinians, who have nothing to do with Holocaust. And I think this is the big question that, in the future, researchers will make the connections to the Palestinian Holocaust and the Jewish Holocaust, and how things have gone so wrong to what we call today the colonial project of Israel. And of course, it's not the Jewish people. Jewish people have been always authentic to this region. It's Zionism as a colonial, radical, bloody movement that is doing this now.
So this is exactly the logic that allows Zionists to colonize Palestine without feeling like shit about themselves. So this common Zionist talking point that every single Jewish person on the face of the planet is indigenous to the land of Israel, and therefore they can't be colonizers because they're just claiming what they are already indigenous to. It's rightfully theirs. This is what they use to justify ethnic cleansing, the murder of Palestinians, and the forced displacement of the actual indigenous people. If you really want to talk genetics, Palestinians are more closely related to the ancient Hebrews that Zionists claim to be related to than the actual Zionists themselves. What happens when a group of people live on a land for a long period of time is that they may convert to other faiths, right? Now they practice Islam or Christianity, and there are still Palestinian Jewish people. There are still Arab Jewish people. Zionists have worked very hard to erase this identity, but they exist. So no one is saying that Jewish people don't have a right to this land in any way, shape, or form. What we're saying is that you don't, as a European Jew, have a claim to indigeneity. You don't. Any 3,000-year-old claim to land is bogus in 2025. I could use that logic and I could say, oh, well, every human is somehow related to Africa because humankind originated there, and therefore I deserve a piece of Africa. No, you would never make that asinine argument, and no one is buying it here. You're just trying not to feel like shit about being a colonizer. Gal Gadot is a colonizer. Boycott Snow White.
Yep, literally just happened. Everything happens for a reason. I just walked the opposite way that where I needed to go. I was like, no, there's something wrong with the Google map. There's something wrong with it. No, it's me. Yeah. So the message is this. He was saying that when you call your energy back, he's going to start showing you the faces of your enemies. And you're going to be very surprised. Because these people you think are like, no way, God, come on. Like, they don't even know I exist. They don't know me like that. No, it's probably my imagination. Don't question it. When God shows you who your real enemies are, trust him. A lot of you, he's going to tell you to block a lot of people from every social media. TikToks, IG, YouTube, if you can, block their channels and stuff like that. And there's the people that you think that will never, and these people have but most of them are fucking broke. They are vampire energy. And they have people that they have certain income, you know, hereditary from family and stuff like that. And they use their money for bullshit. Instead of using their money to like, help the poor and genocide, you know, give to those in need right now. No, they waste it on.
How does Israel use Palestine as a weapons laboratory?
The Palestine laboratory is essentially the way that Israel has monetized the longest occupation in modern times. So Israel's been occupying Palestinian territory for over half a century. And in that time, they have developed a huge range of tools and technologies to repress Palestinians and maintain that occupation. Israel promotes and sells these tools as so-called battle-tested.
Global demand for new Israeli weapons spikes after they're tested during attacks on Gaza.
Israel uses footage that they have filmed themselves in Gaza or elsewhere and shows that to potential foreign clients.
Countries also buy Israeli surveillance technology like spyware, facial recognition, and biometric tools.
So whether you live in New York or London or Dhaka or Delhi, almost certainly, as a citizen, you'll be impacted by some form of Israeli repressive technology, and that's something we should all oppose.
To deprive the population of Gaza of access to water amount to acts of genocide.
We saw Israeli leaders saying in public, we will cut off water, we will cut off other essential supplies to the population. They are war crimes because they're targeting facilities essential to the population, but they're also a crime against humanity.
Like this, Israeli soldiers filmed themselves blowing up a water facility in Rafah and posted it on social media. And there is evidence Israeli forces have been actively targeting water workers.
More than 80% of water networks have been totally destroyed.
The water in Gaza has been horrifically bad for a very long time. Very high levels of contamination, very high levels of salination. That situation has only deteriorated precipitously.
And to read reports then of women who are mixing contaminated water with formula simply to try to feed their babies.
In 2024, studies showed that 90% of Gaza's children under 5 were suffering from an infectious disease. 70% of children were found to have diarrhea, compared to just 3.4% in 2022, while 40,000 cases of hepatitis were reported in 2024, compared to just 85 cases in pre-war Gaza. The destruction of water and sanitation infrastructure in hospitals and healthcare facilities has led to an unprecedented risk of infection and death.
We're never going to know the scale of this. What are we going to see for the next years for these children, the amputees, growing up without hydration, without food, and without medical care, the death and the disease and the impacts we're going to see for generations.
Salam everyone. Sazuddin Lulu, a 6th-year medical student from Gaza City. Today I received a video of destruction, a video of loss. This is our Faculty of Medicine, the place where we spend years of our lives studying, learning, hoping. Today it's gone, destroyed by the occupation. They did not just destroy walls and classrooms, they destroyed our future, our dreams, the aspirations of an entire generation. Next to it stood our university hospital, a place of healing, of care, of saving lives. It too has been reduced to rubble. Now 2,500 medical students are left without a medical school, without a place to learn, without the resources to continue their education. The future doctors of our people left with nothing. I cannot describe the pain of seeing everything we built, everything we believed in, erased in an instant. But I want the world to know, no matter how much they destroy, they will never erase our will. Our Faculty of Medicine may be in ruins, but our mission, our purpose, inshallah, will remain, will not stop.
How do you take nice Jewish boys and girls and turn them into monstrous killers of children when they reach 18? It takes a very long, thorough, and sophisticated education to do that. And that was my question, you know. How do you do that? How come, you know? And We have an organization called Breaking the Silence, where soldiers confess what they did in the West Bank. And many of these confessions, the soldiers say, I was educated to believe that whatever I do to the Palestinians will save us from another Holocaust. And only when I aimed my rifle at a little girl, I realized that I was the evil one. And then I stopped. So this education is so entrenched. It's really, Richard Dawkins hated religion, and he called religion mind infection. But I think this is mind infection. Ideologies can be mind infected. And they are so infected with it that and the dehumanization of Palestinians especially is so strong that it's very hard for people, especially young people, to get rid of that and to see these people as human beings.
We are not angry enough. 50 million liters of acid waste has been dumped into Zambia's Kafue River by a Chinese mining company known as Sino Metals Leach, real name. This is what is happening in the copper belt of southern DRC and northern Zambia. This region known as the copper belt, let it be known that this region is the reason we have AI technology today. The AI arms race between the US and China is impossible, cannot happen. We cannot have any of these things without the copper belt of northern Zambia and southern DRC. This is where all of the copper that these companies, these corporations are using to develop their AI technology is coming from. And what is happening at the bottom of the supply chain of all of our devices is this: environmental disasters happening throughout the province of Katanga and the provinces in northern Zambia. Kafue River is the longest tributary of the Zambezi. The Zambezi is one of Africa's longest rivers. This river borders almost 5 African countries: Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana. So if acid waste, 50 million liters of acid waste being dumped in one part of the river, it is all flowing upstream, downstream, throughout. Fish are dead in the rivers. People are reporting having all sorts of cancers. Children being born with all sorts of malformations. Women and girls not having periods. This is what is happening. There is no electricity because the Kafue River also provides hydroelectric power to the towns close to it. This is what is happening. The lack of mining regulation on the African continent is unaliving all of African people. And it is with the expressed consent of corrupt, immoral African governments in these countries. Accountability has to be put on their heads. Together with the Chinese mining companies, together with the other foreign mining companies, but the people who are the gatekeepers of our lands, of our rivers, are the African leaders that we have chosen. But they are not good stewards. They are not good gatekeepers. They let anybody in to desecrate our land, to desecrate our rivers, to unalive us. What are children supposed to drink? All of this is food. This is water to drink for all of these families, all of these villages. We are not angry enough, people. This must infuriate all of us. This Chinese mining company has to pay the price.
They wasted on attacking people, trying to take from other people energy, trying to steal money, but mostly energy. A lot of you is your energy. I don't know how, don't ask me, I don't know how to do it. Ask God if you want, but I don't know. But a lot of you start calling your energy back. Call your energy back. Do a fasting if you can, but there's definitely some siphoning energy. So a lot of you like money issues and stuff like that because these people attack you with your own energy because they don't have energy. So they use your energy to steal from you, to take from you, and then they use it. And after they acquire the money, because God let it happen for a little bit, so they feel a little like, boost, like, the ego goes all the way, like, and then when it's gone, they get mad, because that's how delusional they are. they get annoyed that you get your energy back, that you're still going, that you're still radiant, that whatever they're trying to steal from you, it didn't fucking work. And if it did, it worked for like, I don't know, less than a day. And it's not sustainable. So they have to continue doing it. But they're using your energy, which means that, yeah, you might get depleted for a bit, but then you recharge all over again by whatever it is that you do. Praying, recharge. Meditating, recharge. Joy, dance, in the midst of like, because, you know, the world's trying to fucking bring you down everywhere. So it's not just one person, okay? A lot of you have a lot of people like, fucking shut the fuck up, right? And yes. Whatever you're thinking right now, when I just said that, you know who it is. And there's plenty of them. For some of you, you have a lot. Yes, they're in higher ground. They have power, fake power, right? Because it's by stealing your energy and other people's energy. But you are the main one. You're the one that they acquire the most. That if your energy is gone, when you call your power back, they lose everything. It's like a domino, you know? Like, when you call your power back, all their shit comes out. And then that's it. You're the source. So, when a lot of you start boycotting, divesting, and calling your energy back, this is their biggest fear. A lot of you are scared of these people. They're scared of you, of all of your power. All this of you, they're scared that you educate fucking corrupt cops. That's what Father Guy was saying before. These cops are broke, so that's why they do filthy ass shit. But when they're educated, because they're not educated, obviously. I don't trust no motherfucking cops. But, yeah. They're scared that you guys turn out to be the prophets that they're trying to put in prison, and then you end up like building like a whole fucking school in prison and shit. Like, that's why they're doing all these, like, then sending people to Guantanamo Bay and stuff like that, because they don't want people educated. Because what did the prophets did when they were in prison? Revolutionary fighters, what do they do? They learn, they read. Ooh. They educate themselves. Yeah. So they're smarter and much wiser before they went in there. I'm not saying that those things are okay. It's illegal. Should not happen. You should not be persecuted or going to prison for speaking the truth, for trying to be against genocide of indigenous people. Like, that's like common sense. And then it shows that a lot of people just lost the fucking common sense and like deranged and vile and just disgusting. But Father God said that when a lot of y'all call your energy back, and that is not just in the spiritual sense, energetically, physically, mentally, and we must do this. We must boycott, okay? Because we should not go another year of genocide. Like, this is not okay. It's not. We need to stop with the excuses and justification. This is wrong. And they're lying and lying and lying and lying and lying. And this is why they're trying to take away everybody who's speaking the truth, because they want to continue lying. They're benefiting from that. And you must be the most disgusting, demonic, rotten, fucking piece of shit leech who benefits from that. And there's a specific place in hell for you. That's why I don't trust people who are okay with like capitalism and shit. Like a lot of us who should be anti every motherfucking shit and try to dismantle and disrupt this fucking system once and for all. Like that should be everyone's energy. And if we're not, it shows where our energy lies, you know? I don't know. Being with Palestinians is really the core value, and it shows who we really are, you know? That is the side of God. And a lot of you, if you're not doing that, you already lost your humanity.
If you're looking at all the different messages about boycotting and fighting the Trump administration, all of this, and you're saying, what's the strategy? Who's in charge? You're already asking the wrong questions. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be a single leader for any of this work. And the better question to ask is, where's the table where the many different leaders dealing with these issues from different points and perspectives and areas and levels of risk and resource, where's that table at where they're convening? The Civil Rights Act and the victories that came because of it didn't happen because Martin Luther King went to Washington. They happened because a fairly sophisticated network of organizers operating across different spaces, places, and identity groups decided to come together. There's a group known as the Big Six, right? You had A. Philip Randolph, who was bringing in the porters and the union workers. You had John Lewis, who became a U.S. Senator. Congressperson, and he was bringing in the students on behalf of SNCC. You had Martin Luther King bringing in the clergy and parishioners from the churches. You had Whitney Young, who was bringing in the business folks in the Chicago Urban and the National Urban League and these sorts of places. You had people who were holding their lane where they were at, and what made the win possible was that they had a table where they all convened. That's what we don't have right now. And the digital space makes that very difficult. In a world where people are constantly trying to be a part of a creator economy, what we're not being a part of is a digital table space and the creation of that. We need a space where this can happen. Is that going to be in a LinkedIn group? Is that going to be on an Instagram broadcast channel? The challenge is everybody wants credit for things, and organizing happens when there's shared accountability and shared credit. It also happens where people are willing to learn something rather than just say something. That all requires a humility that increasingly in the digital space where people get likes and they're fighting for attention in the attention economy, it's very hard to do that. But what I just want to say is that if you're trying to find a leader, try to find the table. If you're trying to figure out what's the strategy for the boycott, understand that nobody's running the boycott. Many different groups, many different orgs are doing their own thing. And until we have a common table, that's not going to happen. I've started to try to attempt this sort of a thing in Chicago, where I'm based, and that's through my company Justice Informed, and that's also through the work we've now taken on in leading the Chicagoland DEI Alliance. There are so many different people working in DEI in Chicago, and Chicago's the third largest economy in the largest economy on the planet. And so for me to step into a point where they entrust in me leading the alliance of the largest network of DEI officers and practitioners in that economy, it's a real humbling thing. But I will just say it's a challenge to try to create that table and try to create it where people have different needs and different areas, levels of risk, and different bosses that they have to respond to. And it takes time. It's going to take a year or years, and that requires patience and resources and support. Think about that before you ask who's leading it. No one's leading it. We need the table to lead everybody.
They hate us, and they don't want us to know our history. That's not by accident, it's by design. Because the truth, if people actually knew real history, this country would not function the way that it does. They don't teach us history, they teach us propaganda. Slavery? It was bad, but Abraham Lincoln fixed it. Let's move on. Jim Crow? Racism ended in 1965. Duh. Native American genocide? Oh no! Manifest destiny, baby! They erased the truth because if people knew just how deep injustice runs, they might actually demand change. It's no coincidence that the same people that are banning books are the ones that are trying to rewrite history. Florida banned lessons on systemic racism. Texas rewrote slavery as involuntary relocation. Tennessee, teachers can't even talk about white supremacy. They're not just controlling history. They're controlling how people think. Ever wonder why the government wants you focused on the good old days? If people don't really know what happened, they won't see patterns repeating. If they erase the fight for rights, people won't know how to demand them. If you keep people ignorant, they'll accept the system instead of changing it. It's all about control, and it's working. They don't want us to know the real history of this country. because real history is radicalizing. Real history shows just how power works, and real history reminds us that change is possible. So read your banned books, dig deeper, question everything, because history is not just in the past, it's happening right now.
And honestly, I don't care about shit. Like, I don't want to lose my empathy and my humanity ever. Been crying and trying to, but it will never be the same trauma as these people are experiencing right now. Go take a walk for a lot of you. I know it's a lot of videos, you're bearing witness, and it's a lot. And I know you hear a lot of people, oh, what are you gonna do from here? What does that do if you watch those videos? Yeah, I just finished the season 2 of Mo on Netflix. Go watch it, so good. And there were 2 parts where Mo said it and his sister said it. Oh, what is that gonna do? We need our joy, we need... That is colonial. We all shifted. Yes, it doesn't take long, because for us, yeah, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of watching and bear witness and sharing and posting. But guess what? This is what the colonizers don't want you guys to do. To expose them, to embarrass them, to humiliate them, just like they're humiliating and dehumanizing Palestinians. It's our job. Don't stop talking about it. Just know that education and, take some breaks out of all of that. Remember, they don't take breaks. They don't have that luxury to take breaks. They have to survive. They have to stay away from bombs and being killed and murder. Make sure that their family is okay, and also finding food after Ramadan, after fasting for an entire day. You guys have no idea what suffering and pain is. A lot of you privileged and comfortable. Just do nothing. Right? You take breaks. You do what you gotta do. And I'm not saying just be in fear-mongering and be sad all the time, because there's a time for everything. Feel your feelings. And I'm talking as an empath here, like, it's hard because I feel all of it. Every video, every picture, everything. It's so painful. Can't stop crying. I'm like, okay, what can I do? How can I use this rage, this energy? What can I do? God, tell me, put me to work,
I get so much feedback online and offline to stop saying the word white. I think we have to first recognize the difference between a white person, someone who's racialized as white and benefits from that racialization, and those who participate in whiteness. And you can participate in whiteness whatever your skin color is. Charles Mills tells us in The Racial Contract that all white people are beneficiaries of the racial contract, but not all are signatories. Participation in whiteness is about domination and theft of labor and resources from people of color. And people of color can participate in that, like Suella Braverman, Rishi Sunak, or Obama. But because of the deep-seated hegemonic narratives around whiteness, it operates as a largely invisible cultural force. And the discomfort of discussing it is by design, because talking about whiteness reduces its ability to remain the default, to remain the norm. Dyer, in this book, tells us that as long as race is only applied to non-white people, as long as white people are not racially seen and named, they function as the human norm. Other people are raced. They are just people. And this is the most important reason we must name whiteness, because by allowing it to remain the default, by considering racial categories only to apply to non-white people, we allow white people the power to speak and act on behalf of humans generally, and everyone else represents a specific racial or ethnic category. Upsetting this power dynamic means we have to name and see the race of white people, to examine it, to deconstruct it, just like we do for all other races. Free Palestine.
Hi.
I want to tell you about a video I saw yesterday morning coming out of Gaza after what happened the night before and the strikes. So in this video, there was a man who had a bag on a table in front of him. Someone had given him a bag. And he slowly opened the bag and with the utmost care slowly started to take things out of the bag and line them up on the table. And I didn't at first understand, or maybe I did. Maybe I did know what I was thinking or seeing. I just couldn't handle it. And you're watching him slowly, gently put all these things, placing them, trying to figure something out. And you realize they're all little pieces of body parts of children. Little hands, little feet, little scraps of clothing. And this man's job was to build a puzzle, to try and make these babies whole again, or as whole as he possibly could, as lovingly as he could, to possibly help parents or whoever was still left alive identify them, maybe. Yesterday, a man woke up in Gaza and this was his job. Someone handed him a bag of parts of children, and his job was to put them together and try to make them whole one last time. These tiny little angels. How are we dealing with that? How are we processing that? And I know that I probably speak for many of you here that through my life I had never known evil, pure, unbridled evil, until Zionists showed us what real evil was. That video yesterday was pure evil. That's what caused that. And I had never known what pure hate was, until Zionists have shown us what pure hate is. I'll never forget that video from yesterday morning, and how that man lovingly, carefully tried to make these babies whole again. This is where we are. This is what hate and evil does.
This is true. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, you know? A lot of us, I know. We all feel that way, right? You are doing enough. Keep posting, keep boycotting. That's like literally silent protesting, for real. So easy. That's nothing. Go to protest. Go join community. Talk to people. The more divided we are, the less we're able to do this. Separated doesn't really work. It has to be together.
Hi everyone. So a weird little cosmic alignment happened tonight. I was lucky enough to be invited by Watermelon Pictures to attend the private screening of their new documentary, The Encampments, which is about exactly what you think it is, the student uprising for the liberation of Palestine. But on my way to the screening is when I saw this news. Columbia University caved to every single demand that Trump had, all for that blood money of $400 million that he was holding from them. Columbia University is now banning masks. They are ending faculty control of the curriculums in the Middle East, South Asian, and African Studies departments, as well as the Center for Palestine Studies, and are now appointing a senior vice provost with broad authority across all these departments. And you bet Trump will have a say in who that is. They are also giving campus police new powers to arrest students. And the university officially declared anti-Zionist policies of student clubs as anti-Semitism. Yup, you heard that right. Columbia University has lost every ounce of credibility and is no longer in any way, shape, or form an educational institution, but rather a prison that lacks free speech and punishes those that are not aligned with the terrorist ethno-state of Israel, hence officially making Columbia University Israel University, which is what I'll be calling it for the rest of this video. I'd like to point one thing out in particular that is now linked to the decision that Israel University made, specifically regarding deeming anti-Zionist policies of student clubs as anti-Semitism. The U.S. Department of Justice just announced the launch of Joint Task Force October 7, also known as JTF 10-7, where they will investigate acts of terrorism and civil rights violations by individuals and entities providing support and financing to Hamas, related Iran proxies, and their affiliates, as well as acts of anti-Semitism by these groups. In plain English, this means the student protesters. It could also include universities and colleges that have entered the government's crosshairs. What most people might assume is First Amendment protected speech and advocacy can be misconstrued by the government as assistance or propaganda provided under the direction of a foreign terrorist organization and thus criminally prosecuted under the material support to terrorism statutes. This puts the United States of America into a position far worse than McCarthyism. The threat to the values of free speech and open debate on college campuses would be at the worst we've ever seen in our history. What they are trying to say is that if you speak against Israel on college campuses, you could go to jail for up to 20 years. But here's the thing. Israel University technically has to obey federal civil rights law, particularly Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which says you cannot be singled out for differential treatment, despite Israel University's policies and its disciplinary process that directly target Palestinian students and supporters of Palestinian rights. No matter what this orange sack of hot garbage says, Title VI still protects Palestinian students and their allies. In fact, if your rights are violated under the Israel University's new agreement with the Trump administration, contact PalestineLegal.org through this link. Now let's get back to Israel University. It is now clear where they stand. And just like any other Israeli product that we boycott, Israel University, aka Columbia University, is now at the top of the boycott list. To all students currently enrolled in Israel University, it is ultimately your decision how you want to handle this. But if I was a student at a university that I thought was supposed to be a haven for education, free speech, free thinking, and a place to feel safe expressing who I am and what I stand for, especially when what I stand for is humanity, and I see my university become an institution run by a terrorist foreign entity, the likes of which is the worst terrorist entity in existence, Israel, I would pack my bags so fast and get the f*** out of there and take my tuition with me. I would coordinate a mass exodus where every student that values free speech in any capacity must leave and take their money with them. And students looking at the prospect of going to college will not even turn their head in the general direction of Israel University. Bleed them dry, just as we are bleeding their terrorist ethno-state dry. But before you do all of that, it is time for all students in the nation, actually all around the world, to rise up again, but harder than you even did before. Because if Columbia University is capable of transforming into Israel University, given everything we've seen, then every university, especially those in fascist countries, will have the ability to do the same thing if you sit there and do nothing. Take back your schools, take back your country. Student movements are the strongest movements in history. Which brings me back to the documentary, The Encampment, that I just saw tonight. It was simply one of the most powerful and inspirational films I have ever seen. It gave me a unique sense of hope that I really needed at this exact moment. And this film dropped at the perfect moment. A moment where we are in draconian times. This film exposes everything. And the icing on the cake is that this film has ample footage of Mahmoud Khalil that will make you all fall in love with the hero that he is, while making everyone that spoke ill of him look like absolute fools. So I urge you all to watch this incredible film when it drops on March 28th. Follow Watermelon Pictures for screening locations. I'm going to leave you with the reaction of the crowd after the film was over.
Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the sea to the river! Palestine will live forever! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina!
I'm not sure this is going to be a popular opinion. I'm just reflecting on our reactions to Trump and to his recent shenanigans and to the general rise of overt racist rhetoric in the US and the UK. And I think it's really important for us, living in our privileged Western lives, to work on decentering ourselves in the fight for global liberation. I'm not trying to diminish the harm caused by these microaggressions or racist policies or even outright white supremacist violence that we're seeing. And neither am I commenting on an individual case, but I think as a collective we need to recognize that we're not the primary victims of a white supremacist world order. And without being conscious of this, we tend to get distracted licking our wounds rather than recognizing that our people are dying, not being offended, not being made uncomfortable, not losing a contract. They're being blown up and dying. And this is not to say that we can't work on both. I just think we need to stay conscious of the bigger picture, because without that we revert to focusing on behaviors rather than systems. Focusing on behaviors helps the powerful because they can pretend that they can work on them and change them. They can deny them. They can obfuscate. And in turn, we begin to feel like a few tweaks and this system might actually serve us. If only this law was different, or this leader was elected. And it can work. It can reduce harm in a specific context, but it can never overturn the global system of white supremacy. Keeping a wider view helps to raise our consciousness to match the pervasiveness of the system that we live under. It helps us recognize that the answers to the suffering we feel domestically can't be dealt with in isolation. Our job is to imagine beyond the entire system, not beyond a particular policy or a particular leader. Free Palestine.
White people, here's a little PSA. Brown bodies are not disposable. When you read a statistic like, I don't know, 174 children were unalived in a day by a bloodthirsty state on a mission to land grab, this isn't just something that happens in our parts of the world. It is done to us over and over. And you all just look the other way because we're not white and you can't see yourselves in us. Yeah, we know you can't see color unless it's suddenly something you need to erase. Brown bodies are not just limbs that have to be carried in bags because they were blown to bits, while you get to turn a blind eye because you've decided that you can't relate to anything beyond the comfort of your little bubble. Even though it is quite literally your governments that are funding and enabling this with your tax dollars. So I hate to break it to you, but you do have a part to play in this. P.S. If you have the privilege of indifference, you're probably benefiting from the status quo. But please go get that Starbucks because you're pissed off at the Palestinian movement. Which, by the way, super weird that you decided, hey, I was boycotting to show solidarity, but now I'm going to knowingly spend my money on a brand that sued its own union for supporting Palestine. Okay, so coffee is what you traded your conscience in for. Ah, performative. Okay, send this to a white friend.
Easy to colonize Africa because of our value systems. We were welcoming to visitors. Kindness was also an important virtue in African society. Unfortunately, the values that were held in high regard in African society were the same values that made Europeans view us as naive and inferior. In short, our kindness was taken for weakness. The same thing happened to the Aztecs in South America. After Christopher Columbus's first voyage, he described the natives as so naive, so free with their possessions. When you ask for something, they never say no. To the contrary, they offer to share with anyone. To European imperialists, being kind to one another, let alone strangers, was not a common occurrence. You see, by 1601, the Dutch had already established the first stock exchange in history. This also means that capitalism began to take shape in European society. In essence, it was every person for themselves, may the best businessman win. So when they set foot in Africa and saw people living in harmonious communal societies, we became targets, easy targets. And that's how precious minerals and other resources were siphoned out of Africa to build Europe.
Help your local businesses. You know, join your local businesses. BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous. You know, buy local. You know, that's a form of resistance as well. Ask God to show you what you need to do. He always does. I have links for you guys in the description below to do. There's petitions to sign, and then there's donations that you can do. My link in the bio. Check out my repost, check out Telegram, share. Do what we must do, okay? I love you guys. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free all the oppressed people. Continue to pray for Gaza. Continue to pray for Congo and Sudan. Pray. Don't stop praying, okay? And don't stop calling your representative. Don't stop. They don't stop, then we don't stop, okay?